digital publishing businesses in different niches, different genres. Some of our digital publishing businesses are geared to sell Kindle books. Others are geared to sell courses, right? Some of them are geared to sell membership programs. Some of them are geared to sell, just events like this, right? Where it's a workshop, where it's a webinar, right? So we're going to give you a sneak peek into how we run some of those businesses. But the thing to remember is, when it comes to digital publishing, it doesn't really matter what it is that you're selling. The processes, for the most part, are going to be the same, right? The processes, for the most part, are going to be the same. And we're going to show you those processes. We're actually going to even give you some of the templates that we use as well, so that it makes the entire process of putting those pieces together easier for you. So we're going to show you how you can finally build out your entire online business, and so that you can do it the right way from start, we're going to show you how to do this on screen. I want you to remember, again, what I just said. It doesn't matter what your ultimate goal is, whether you're an author, whether you're a writer, whether you're someone who wants to publish Kindle books, whether you're someone who wants to put together a fiction course, or if you're publishing, not a fiction course, a non-fiction course, or if you're publishing fiction books, right? The process is going to be the same. So with that said, so that we get a understanding as to who we have here, what's your ultimate goal? Like, as it relates to digital publishing, what is it that you want to achieve? And just put that in the chat box so we have an understanding. Is it to write a book? Is it to publish your book? And if it is to publish a book, let us know. Is it fiction or nonfiction? Is it to build out a membership program? Is it to publish a course, right? Like a training course, where we publish multiple training courses. So just let us know in the chat box really quickly. So James says to finish editing and publish my book. All right, James, so you're going to be able to use this in a sense where you'll be able to take the steps that we're going to give you and build out a list, right? So you'll be able to take the stuff and build out a list. I think that most people who go in and they publish a book, right, they write a book, they go in and they make it available to the marketplace. I think one of the most important steps that they miss out on is simply having a list, right? Every single one of you found out about this event because we have a list, right? We're able to say, hey, look, this is what's happening. Here's where you attend. Come in and join us. You got that email notification. As you're publishing your books, you need to have that power of having a list as well, because when you go and you release your book, you can go send an email. You can say, hey, look, I just published my book. It's now available on Amazon. Here's where you can go and you can purchase it. All right? Does that make sense? And the authors that tend to have a list, they tend to have success skewed in their favor versus someone who doesn't have a list. Think about that, right? If you've got the ability to go in and craft an email, send it out to people that are on your mailing list, whether it's 50 people or 50,000 people, you have the advantage over someone that doesn't. So we'll show you how to put together that step that allows you to start to build out your list, right? So that'll be one part. So thank you, James, for entering that in. The other James, so that was James A. James K says, write and publish a science fiction book series, all right? So same thing, James, right? So publishing and writing it, that part right there, we're not covering on this, but we are covering how you can start to build out that list and sell more. Dan says, of course. So Dan, we're going to show you how you do the same thing. How do you build out that list? How do you build out the steps where you're building out this funnel that allows you to not only build out your list, but also sell them, and then also sell them something else, and then also follow up with them, right? And even before that, follow up with them to the standpoint of that they're aware of what it is that you have available to sell, and then they also know how they can go in and purchase it. All right, so thank you, Dan, for that. Luke says publishing fiction Kindle books. So same thing, as I just mentioned to the two Jameses, James K and James A there. So Luke, you'll be able to benefit from this as well. Write children's books. Roger, same thing. Getting my first book started, finished, and published. Same thing, Stephen Carmen. All right. Anyone else, where are you at right now? Like, what is your ultimate goal? Is it to publish a book? Is it to build out a course? Is it to build out a membership area? Is it to build out your list? All right. So we'll teach you guys how to do many of those steps during this challenge, right? So
I would also just throw in there too, it's in your best interest to participate. Like, if we're going to go through real life examples.
Yep.
It's your opportunity to get your example out there. So no better way than the more we know about you, the more we can help you. This is purely value. We really want to help everybody here. So the more you participate there too, it makes our jobs easier as well there too. We know there's more than 5 people in this chat, but with that said, and if you, some people just jumped on, drop what you're doing right now in the chat if it's not there already.
Right. Now, so we're going to show you how to do this in a way where once you have the knowledge of being able to do this, meaning building out your digital publishing business structure, the structure and all of the different elements, you can use this to pretty much sell anything. Because as I said at the very beginning, the concept is going to be the same, right? The steps are going to be the same. You might have elements within those steps that might change depending on if you're selling fiction or nonfiction, or if you're selling a one-off book, or if you're selling a course, or if you're selling a series, right? Or if you're selling a membership. So the elements within that might change, but here's the good news. It becomes, once you understand it, it becomes extremely easy to put those changes in place. I see Danelle's on here. So Danelle and I, what's today, Monday? So yesterday, Danelle and I, we had gotten together and I showed her some things that she can do to kind of build out the next steps in her Facebook advertising journey, right? And because she already had a little bit of familiarity with the process by going through some of our other courses, I was able to do that. And I want to say maybe less than an hour, because her and I were chatting back and forth and we're going over things. And right. So once you start to get this, no one will ever be able to take it away from you. You might need refreshers here and there, but you will never forget it, right? Barring that you've got your full faculties and things like that. But no one will ever be able to take this stuff away from you. And it's a skill set, but I couldn't even put a price tag on, right? So make sure that you guys pay attention here. We're also going to show you how, look, running a business can be extremely expensive, right? It could be expensive. So we're going to show you how to do, and when I say expensive, I mean it could be expensive to the point where you could be paying hundreds of dollars a month. You could be paying thousands of dollars a month. I've been on both spectrums, right? Paying thousands of dollars a month for different resources, paying hundreds of dollars a month. We're going to show you how to do all of this for less than $100 and significantly less than that as well. So when I said resources that you'll need at the very beginning, this is what I mean by the resources, right? So there's no such thing as being able to start a business. I don't care what the gurus say. I don't care how great they make it sound on YouTube or on Instagram. Regardless of what it is that you're doing, there's always going to be an investment that's required. And trust me, I've tried everything. I tried drop shipping. I've tried when I was in my 20s, I tried envelope stuffing. Have any of you guys ever heard that? Hell, I had to go buy the stamps, right? It cost me almost $100 to go in and buy the stamps and do this envelope stuffing. I've tried selling physical products on Amazon. You guys know, of course, I sell digital products, Kindle books on Amazon. I've tried just about everything. Affiliate marketing, there's been a cost associated with that. And what we're going to share with you by far has been the least expensive investment that I've had to make when it comes to building out a business, all right? So here's some links that you're going to need. And Des, if you can throw these links into the chat box, that'll be very good. So our workbook is going to be at micro-offers.com/UP or UDPM-workbook. All right, I promise you our links are going to be much shorter the next event that we do. Des, please make a note. So you can go and you can get the workbook using that link. You'll be able to go in and make a copy of it, right? Our members area is going to be at www.micro-offers.com/members. And this is for everyone that bought a ticket to this thing, meaning you bought a VIP ticket, you bought a platinum ticket, or you went in and you got the Business Builder 30-day trial. So you'll have access to a members area. Here's what you'll find in your members area. So you'll find a link to your workbook, right? You can also just go in and visit that URL and you can get the workbook. You'll also find the recordings to this event, right? So we'll have the recordings after we're done. Please do not just rely on the recordings and say, I don't need to show up, because the recordings are going to be in my members area. You do need to show up because we're going to allow you to ask questions. And then there's nothing better than being able to hear other questions that people ask and then getting an answer, a direct answer from myself or Willie from the questions that you might have. With that said, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that you might be considering asking, but you don't actually go in and ask it because it hurts you, and then it also hurts other people who might be able to grow and learn from you asking that question. If you want to upgrade your ticket, you can go to microoffers.com/UDPM-challenge and you'll be able to upgrade your ticket. Last but not least, we have, and I'm gonna come back to the community, but our support link here. If you guys need any help with support, we've got the support link there. So micro-offers.com/support. And then we have this incredible community. It's our Make Money Monthly community, or that's what the MMM stands for. And I think every single person that's watching this right now, if you guys can go in and click on that link that Des just put in the chat box. It's over at micro-offers.com/MMM-community and request access to be admitted into the community. Here's why you want to be added to this community. Because on a regular basis, we'll be in this community. We'll be sharing things like the recordings to this event in that community. We'll be sharing other things that can help you along your digital publishing journey, right? We'll be sharing tips and just little resources that will give you insight into how to make this entire thing a lot easier, right? So everyone has those links. The links are also in the chat box. You're good to go there. If you have not upgraded to a platinum ticket, here's how you can do that. You can just simply go to micro-offers.com/UDPM-platinum, or you can go to micro-offers.com/UDPM-challenge, and that'll allow you to upgrade either way. So here's why you want to upgrade to a platinum ticket, because at the very end of this session, hopefully around 8 to 8:15, but at the end of the session, we're going to have a platinum ticket holders only behind the scenes mastermind session. So once this Zoom session is done, we'll go and we'll join on a different Zoom link, and this is only for platinum ticket holders, right? Who either have the business builder already or who have a platinum ticket. We'll go into a different Zoom room, and then we'll allow you guys to ask any questions that you might have about your current business. We'll sit there and we'll stay with you as long as we need to, and we'll help you to get the next step or that next level help that you actually need. All right. So this Zoom link that you'll find after this event, it's already been emailed to you. Well, actually, it should be emailed to you shortly, right before we end here. So you'll see it in your inbox, and you'll find that email that says Platinum Bonus Session. Join us right after the main event. And you'll find that Zoom link that's exclusive to Platinum ticket holders only. And then you'll also be able to find this in your members area. So there's two ways that you can find it. Either check your email or go in your members area and you'll find that Zoom link. And that's for our post session immediately after this. All right. Now, before we dive in, so the stuff that we're going to show you is what we actually do in our businesses, right? So we actually practice what we actually preach, right? So we're going to show you all the things that work for us and the things that we've learned to put in place over the last close to 2 decades. So there's been a lot of refinement in our businesses. So if you think that, like, after doing this for almost 2 decades and having tens of thousands, probably way more than that, customers that have come through a lot of our processes, we've learned a few things, right? And we've learned what works. We've also learned what doesn't work, right? So here's what we'll be covering over the next 5 days. And Willie, if you want to go through this, by all means, take a stab at it. And if there's anything else that you want to add, by all means.
Sure. So as you can see here, and as I mentioned, if you want to hear at the beginning, it's like this would be actionable. So on day one here today, literally starting today, we're going to actually show you how you can start your business for less and run your business. I would say less than $100 a month. As Ty referenced earlier, significantly less than that, but it takes a little bit of money. You've all probably heard the adage, it takes money to make money. We're not saying that in a negative way. No matter what you do, any one tool, any software out there, you're going to have to do something just to exist online, like even if it's just buying a domain name. But we're going to kind of get rid of all the misinformation because there is a lot of misinformation. Ty's been doing this almost 20 years, over 20 years actually. I've been doing this about 15 myself. We've seen the ways of every new widget, gadget, everything that comes and goes, but success leaves clues, and there is a right and a wrong way to running businesses. So we're going to help you kind of clarify that as well as get started the right way and avoid some of the other things that are out there that maybe you hear on YouTube, online, all these other people, gurus talking about doing. That's not always true, right? So we're going to tell you what to do. We're going to show you what to do, and we're also going to help you get it done over the next 5 days. And starting tomorrow, day 2, we're really going to streamline that whole marketing process. And we're talking everything over the next 5 days, of course, is our funnels, our emails, our website, the things that we actually do daily for ourselves. we're going to show you how to do that and actually start building these assets out live online so that you can start selling your books and your products and your courses and all the things that everyone mentioned in the chat box here while you were here. Day 3, we're also going to show you how we start developing product ideas because just having something to sell, it's half the battle, right? And even if you have all the fancy stuff, the funnels and the emails and everything in place, well, at the end of the day, if you want to be in business, you still have to make sale of something. And some people don't have that, and that's okay. So we're going to show you how to come up with the ideas. We're going to show you how to formulate that. We're going to show you how to group everything together and how you can actually create a product if you don't even have a product. So you definitely don't want to miss that on day 3. And then day 4, we're also going to make sure that you can actually start getting customers. And because when people come into your world, it's a prospect. But until they actually pull out a credit card and purchase something from you, that's when they become a customer. So what do you do in the in-between? So we're going to show you how to nurture. We're going to show you how to take care of the customers, building a list. If you've ever heard any of these words, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't heard these words yet, we're going to show you, take you by the hand and kind of walk you through that process. But how do you engage with your audience? And how do you get somebody to buy the first time? How can you get them to buy more of the stuff if you have more things, if it's more books, more series, more products, more courses? How do you turn that from a one-off sell into an actual ongoing business? We're going to talk about that on day 4. And then day 5. It's really about building profitable community. As we reference, having an audience, think about it this way. If you had something to sell, I'm not sure who's into sports, but what if you're in the middle, yesterday's like Sunday, it's a big football day, right? There's a stadium with thousands of people. What if you had access to thousands of people and you could say, here's what I have, but not just thousands of random people. What if they were all somebody interested in what you have, interested in your book, interested in your products, your courses, your coaching, what you're doing? That's what you want to have the ability to do. So even if you don't have anything to sell yet, when you do have something created, what if you already had this group of people that you have a pretty good idea on what you have? That's what you're going to learn how to do on day 5. And we actually decided to throw in a bonus day on the day 6, where we're actually going to go through here, and that's what we're going to also kind of nurture and follow up. So how do you actually, guess what? And do a self-check here. Like, how many of you buy the first time? Like, maybe you go in the store, if you still go to malls, and someone says, can I help you? What's the first thing out of most people's mouths? I'm just looking, right? Well, guess what? Most people online are just looking too. They want to find out. They want to read reviews. They want to do all the different things, get the information. What if somebody doesn't buy that first time around? How can you get them back in through the door, per se, again, digital doors, that is, and get them back your offer, your product, your book in front of them? That's what we're going to kind of cover in that bonus day. So, again, we're going to be taking action. We're going to build each of these out each day, and we're going to show you the step-by-step, click-by-click as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the, like I said at the very beginning, right, one of the hardest things is to build a business and be able to afford the business, right? And we've seen this day in and day out. We've worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and one of the number one objections is that, look, I just don't have the funds to do this, right? So that's a hard place to be at. If someone wants to do something, but it's just too costly. So Willie and I, we kind of got together and we said, how can we make this whole process easier for people in terms of being able to afford getting started, right? Because that's one of the hardest pieces to the puzzle, is the affordability of it. So we came up with something that will make that easier for you, and that gives you everything that you need along with being able to afford it. It'll give you everything that you need to make sure that your journey is as complete as possible. Now, the only thing that we're not giving you is we're not giving you the actual content, right? So we're not giving you the book that you want to publish. We're not giving you the course that you want to go in and create. That's up to you. We are giving you the means of making it available. We are giving you the means of being able to sell it. We are giving you the means of being able to fulfill on it, meaning once you go in and you sell it, how do you now serve it to someone, right? We are giving you a means of being able to turn that one customer possibly into someone that buys over and over and over and over again from you, right? And that one customer can ultimately become one of the most valuable individuals because they are buying from you ultimately over and over and over again. So we're showing you some things that you can do for less than $100. But I think a lot of people who initially get started, they underestimate all of the other stuff that goes into running a business. It's not just being able to come over here and create a book. It's not just coming over here and putting together a course, right? There's so much more that goes into that. So we're going to show you everything that's below the iceberg, right? So before we do that, Here's a couple of things that you actually need to know. So 3 things that you actually need to know. And if you guys can, in the chat box, give me a 1, 2, or 3, or you could put all 3 in if you want. But which one of these most seems like it's where you're at, where you're stuck at, right? There's 3 big reasons why most people fail online. Number 1, they don't know what to do, right? We put out survey after survey after survey sometimes when it comes to just asking people that are on our list. And you've probably seen one of these surveys before, and we're like, hey, what's one of the areas where you're stuck at? And there's a lot of people who will reply back and they'll say, hey, just simply getting started. So either they don't know what to do, meaning they don't know how to get started, right? Or they don't know how to do it. So they may know how to get started, but they don't know like how to actually do it. They may know, look, I need to go in and I need to publish my book. I need to make sure that I either write it, or I use AI to help me create it, or I go in and I outsource it, right? I know that that's what I need to do. I just don't know, number 2, how do I do it? So which of these do you fall into? Number 1, you don't know, like you just don't know what to do. When I first got started in business, I knew that I grew up really poor. So I knew that in order to get out of that, to have more money and to take me out of the environment that I was in, to be able to have the ability to afford more things, being an entrepreneur probably was going to be the route for me, right? I just didn't, so I knew what to do. Well, I didn't even know what to do, right? And then once I got the understanding of what to do, that being an entrepreneur was the route that I should take, I didn't know how to do it, right? And then you might be the person that knows how to do it, like you might be a great writer. You might be someone who's good at coming up with ideas for a course, right? But then you also need a little bit of help. So which of these buckets do you fall in? And if everyone that's listening right now, and Willie, if you could take a look at the chat box, which one do you fall into? You don't know what to do, which is okay, right? Because we're all there at some point. You don't know how to do it, right? So what are the steps that you do things in? Or you simply need help getting it done. Maybe it's, you know, the steps, right? You know, like how to do it, but it's just super overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, Ty, there's 15 different pieces here. I need to go in and I need to create my content. Then I need to have it edited. Then I need to go in and I need to hire a proofreader. Then after that, I need to go in and set up my Kindle account. Then after that, I need to go in. Then I need to fill everything out. Then after that, I need to actually upload my book and get a cover created and come up with a title before that. And right, you know, like all the little steps, but you're like, Jesus, this is so much here. So which one do you fall into? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing a good mix actually. Probably more 2s if you really have to narrow it down, but everybody is at a different spot, and that's why something like this really helps. Because today we're actually going to show you how to solve all of these problems. But it really is sometimes like Ty mentioned, like you don't know what to do. Of course, like hey, I heard there's this online business thing, or I could write a book. I've heard this thing, or I've heard people talk about product creation. So you're aware, but you don't know how to take those steps. Me personally, I was probably like a 2, 3 when I started out. Like you don't know how to do it. Like here's an easy example, right? Most people say, oh, you want to start an online business, you get a domain, you build a website, you build an email list, and you sell a product. Yeah, most people know that, but like, how do you do that? And that's the biggest thing. Most people are short on the how. Or the third thing is, even if I know this, like, I mean, we all have different technical levels, right? We all come from different backgrounds. Maybe we're not familiar with all the terms. I just want somebody I can bounce questions off of. And that was me mostly. I was mostly maybe a 3. You just want that extra assurance that I'm doing the right. I have no problem working hard. I just want to work hard on the right things. And that's where I kind of found myself early on in my career as well there too. Or as some people have seen here, you might be a mix of all 3, a little bit here, a little bit there. And I can see it popping here. I'm finding I have to now pay people to help me. Exactly. That's a big common problem. Help me to get some steps done and have to spend some money. Sometimes that's the case there too. And that's why we kind of put this challenge together. Again, if you were a little bit late to get here, we want to help you get over all these hurdles. And this isn't one of those programs where there's a big thing at the end of the day. Like, this is to get value. And like the people, I can tell you now, the people putting these questions in the chat or answering these questions, they're going to get the most value. I'm just looking shy there. It's like 9 or 10 responses out of 32. You're going to get out of this what you put into it. And I may have said that before, but it really is one of those things where you're going to get out of this If you can't participate, are you going to do the things we ask you to do tomorrow or the next day or the next day? So just keep that in mind. Just a little self-check, if you will.
Yeah, you know what, Willie, I think that's good, right? So you get out of things what you put into it. That's life in general, right? Mm-hmm. You get out of it what you put into it, right? So if we're asking questions and we're saying the same people that answer, then chances are those are the people that, and I'm looking at it, right? So those are the people that probably more than likely are going to get the most out of this. And you start to see that. You start to see the same people that will answer, right? But if you can't simply go in and you can't put a one into the chat box, the chances of you doing the homework are going to be slim to none. The chances of you getting something out of this and building out a business are going to be slim to none, because building out a digital publishing business is a lot harder than putting a 1 or 2 or 3 in the chat box. It is a lot harder than responding. It is a lot harder than paying attention, right? It takes a much higher level of discipline and commitment to do this, right? Now I want to ask you guys, so we'll start all over again in a sense. Have you ever seen someone that's been successful at something and then it causes you to doubt your ability? Like, have you ever seen someone who's doing exactly what it is that you want to do, and then you start to get to a point where you're like, oh my God, like, I know I'm smart, or maybe I'm not smart enough. You start to question your ability from that standpoint. Or maybe you start to question, like, maybe I'm too young to do this, or maybe I'm too old to do this. Like, who here has ever been there before? Or maybe you start to question, you know, maybe this is just something that women can do, right? Maybe, you know, I'm a man trying to do something that only women are great at. Maybe women are only great authors, right? Maybe women have a better chance at being successful because there's a female name there's attached to it, right? There's a feminine name attached to it. Or maybe you're a woman and you're like, well, you know, maybe I'm having such a hard time because I'm not a man, right? Maybe it's easier for men to do this, right? Has it ever occurred to you maybe that you don't have the experience? Have you ever thought that? Well, maybe I just don't have enough experience to be successful at this. Maybe I need to study a little bit more. Maybe I need to put more effort into it, right? Has that ever happened to you? Because I know when I first started out, I mean, I would plan and I would have notebooks and I would jot things down and I would create these systems and I'm writing everything down. And I kind of got stuck in that routine of perfection. I got stuck in that routine of continuously planning out everything that I'm doing or that I was planning on doing, but I never really got into the meat of doing it. And I stayed in that space for a few years before I actually moved out of it. And if that's any of you guys, I'm here to tell you that, look, it has nothing to do with any of those things that I just talked about. Like, it has nothing to do with how smart you are. It has nothing to do with your gender. It has nothing to do with your age. It has nothing to do with your experience level for the most part. Yes, you do want to have some experience. You want to know what you're doing, right? And it has nothing to do with how smart you are. But it has more to do with having the right system. So if you think about it, system doesn't care if you're black, doesn't care if you're white, doesn't care if you're young, doesn't care if you're old, doesn't care if you're Russian, doesn't care if you're American, doesn't care if you're a woman, doesn't care if you're a man. It doesn't care if you have barely made it out of high school. It doesn't matter if you have like a master's degree or multiple masters, right? A system, if followed correctly, will get the same results for person A as it will get for person B. Does that make sense? And if you go to some place like McDonald's, McDonald's is one of the most recognized companies on the planet because they understand the importance of systems. If you go to McDonald's and you take someone that has an 8th grade education level, you put that person on the fry machine, and then you take someone who has a master's degree and you put that person on a fry machine, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they're going to get 2 totally different batches of French fries for the most part? If they follow the system, right? So McDonald's will give every single employee the system for putting together or cooking French fries, right? The person that barely made it out of elementary school, as well as the person that has his master's degree, they both get the same instructions on how to go in and work the fry machine. Now, if they both go in and work this system in the same way, they're both going to get the same results. And that has more to do with your success than anything else. Oftentimes people will come in and they'll follow the wrong systems. Or they'll have access to the right system, but then they'll deviate from what the system is, what the system says to do. Who here has ever done that? Who here has ever done that in real life? Who here has ever done that maybe in school, if you think back to elementary school or high school or college, right? You knew exactly what to do, and this was me, I'm raising my hand, because I would go and I would say, oh my God, I'm gonna take a shortcut. And then I take a shortcut and it comes out nowhere near the same way that it should have come out had I followed the system in order, right? It's baking a cake. You go in and you bake a cake and you've got this box, and on the back of the box it says, hey, these are the ingredients you need. These are the steps that you're going to follow. It says, hey, set the oven at 350, and you go and you say, man, I want this thing to cook a lot faster, to bake a lot faster. I'm going to set my oven to 450, and I've actually done this before, right? And it doesn't come out the right way. So that's a system. Right? Following along in the right system will get you the right results. And that's what we're asking you to do. So we're going to give you some things over the next couple of days that will be systematic. And if you follow along in the right way, you'll get the results that you're after. Right?
But sometimes, I would just add one more thing to that there too. Sometimes it's not even necessarily people looking for a shortcut. Sometimes you hear something else or somebody else tells you something else, so you add to it. So like, kind of like Ty's cake analogy there too. Is like, you got a award-winning chocolate cake recipe, and you decide to put some cinnamon in it or some vanilla in it, but then you don't get the award, right? Because you changed it because you heard someone else said this is the better way, even though you knew what it was, then you start adding your own flavoring to it there too. That's another big problem people run into.
Yeah, 100. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, so one thing I would say, and this is a positive thing for everybody there too, like the answer, and this is, we're not saying this facetiously or from a high podium or anything else, the answer really is a lot easier. It's a lot simpler than what you really think. And it really does come down to that one thing, as Ty was mentioning. Like at the end of the day, success online, it really does come down to those systems that Ty was walking about. And here's how much we believe in this, right? Your success, and you can write this down, take a screenshot, whatever you want. Your success, I would also add, or failure, will be in direct proportion to the system that you use. Like nothing more, nothing less. Like if you get in your car, that's a system. Your car's not going to work just for you and not for me or for Ty or for anybody else that's on this call, right? So being able to use that system. However, you got to maintain that. You still got to put the key in. You got to turn it or push the button these days, right? So you got to still do this, follow the steps to make that system work. But knowing that that's half the battle, right? And we've learned this firsthand. Like Ty's made mistakes, I've made mistakes, and you actually, I would even argue, you learn more from your mistakes. So we've done it wrong more times than right to eventually get to doing it right? So it probably sounds familiar to all of us. So not preaching to the choir here, but like I gave this example earlier, build a website, give a free gift, and all these other things. And that's what you do. And you kind of got it right, but you have to have the right system. And look at the picture on the right, and I'm going to talk a little bit on the left here at the same time. This is the big problem I find a lot of people doing. It's like they're duct taping their business together because one, so-and-so, some guru, some popular guy, your favorite person told you to go do something, and then your next favorite person told you to do something else. So you got all these ideas. We're adding all the ingredients into our recipe, right? But here's the thing. Just the systems alone, even when you do it correctly, that can be hard sometimes too. Like, just take a look on the left real quick. Like, here's all the things you have to put in there. And I would say there's probably half a dozen to a dozen things just to get up running things, doing it correctly that you need to have in place. Then there's more things you can add into that so you can really get an exhaustive list here. But just put me in a chat of which of these things do you have? Anyone here have a website or a funnel, or you've heard that you have to have a funnel or website to get started? Well, hey, if I got a funnel or website, do I got to get these email lists? Building a list building. If you've ever heard words like that, terms like that, I have to build these emails. What about a members area? If I have all these products, where are you going to store those things? Like once I have a product, and not only where am I going to store it, how do I do that? Like that becomes another problem. Like we saw those 1, 2, and 3. Like what to do, how to do, and how to do them. Private community. Maybe you have that, maybe you don't. But if you want to have a community of people, like we mentioned, being in the middle of a stadium of thousands of people potentially and saying, hey, here's what I got, and all those people in the seats already like what you have, you got a good chance of making some sales. What if you want to do text messaging? Who doesn't have one of these within their arm reach, right? It's a phone if you can't see that if you're looking on the phone. Like everyone has that within arm reach, probably 23 to 24 hours a day, if not all 24 hours a day, right? So what if you can use that device to get your message out there? Well, okay, I do want to make sales. Well, now you have to be able to accept those orders. How to get somebody's information, if it's a credit card, if they're putting something on one of the different apps, or the different services you can use, right? There's different payment gateways. How do you actually do that and set that stuff up? If you're like Ty and myself, running surveys. The best way for me or Ty to know what you want, or you to know what your customers or potential customers want, you can ask them. You're not going to ring everybody up on the phone and ask them or go knock on the doors. You can just, with a click of a button, send out a survey, asking a couple of questions. You get feedback and input, a process, and there's an output, right? And now you can use that information. If I said chocolate, who actually looking at the group here, who remembers the Pepsi challenge? You used to go in the mall and like there's these two little cups on a little table in the middle of the mall. And one says A and one says B, and they have you taste them both. And they were trying to see what do you like better, Pepsi or Coke, right? It used to be called the Pepsi Challenge, probably back in the 80s, so we date ourselves, right? But that's what it is. Like, if more people like Pepsi, give them some Pepsi. If more people like Coke, why don't you give them some Coke? Or if you're a really smart marketer, I know these people like Pepsi and these ones like Coke. I'm going to give all the Pepsi people Pepsi and all the Coke people Coke. So you don't have to give one thing to everybody, right? You can start segmenting and some more advanced things we're going to talk about over time. Or it can then be from forms and calendars, and we can really go in. And if you look on the right, this is what most people at least are familiar with this idea. That's the tip of the iceberg. Like that's what you see on the surface level, or that's what most people talk about on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all the other platforms, right? But you never really see the stuff underneath that makes that business work. So when you go out there and do whatever funnel hack and all these other things that people tell you to do, well, you don't know what they were really meant to do. So you only see this little tip of the iceberg, but you have no idea what the rest of that business looks like. So that's why we want to take a look at this. And we really want to just go on the inside and really just see what all this stuff looks like Philip mentioned here. Like, this is what I've done wrong before. And you jump in with A, B, and C. You're 100% right there, Philip. Like, and the people who here can admit you got a problem, like what is that? The first ever rehabilitation, right? That's why Ty and I always raise our hands first. We're not telling you anything we haven't done. And look here, this is why most people struggle. And I would say probably why they also waste their time, waste a lot of money, just looking at, and this is not an all-exhaustive list, but you can look there. It's really 6 to 12 different things with all the different components we talked about, and we were no different than anybody else. And the sad thing is, to an extent, up until recently, that was the way you had to do it. You had to get a piece here and get a piece there and put these things together and hope that this system worked with this other system and that these things keep working together. But about 2 years ago, we kind of got fed up, just to be honest. We can't keep doing the same old thing and expect a different result, right? I would say you can't do that either. And you said, look, there has to be a better way. So we proactively went out there and we tried to find something. It took us a while. And we probably knew about a couple ideas. It still took about another 12 months to get to that point. So learn from our mistakes again, right? But the platforms alone, think about it this way. Just look on the right side. Just pick any 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. What if you had to learn how to do number 1? Then you had to learn to do number 2. Then 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's like 17 on here last time I counted, if I did my math correctly.
I'm curious, I'm curious, sorry to cut you off, Willie. How many people have any of these? Are signed up to any of these? Which one of these logos do you recognize, and what are you using right now to build up your business? Can you put any of the platforms that you're using right now? Is it like Active Campaign? Is it MailerLite? Is it what are you signed up to right now? What are some of the services that you use right now to build out your business? And you guys can put that in the chat box. If it's easier for you, put like a number, like how many of these different things are you using? If you recognize a logo or if you recognize one of the terms, and you'll see for yourself, well, James, you might be just starting out like James and none of them. And that might be a good position there. However, now the problem becomes they're not picking out on James, right? Now I want to do something. Using anything. Yeah. Well, let us know. What are you using? AI says Joe, and I'm sure if people are participating, they're going to put in a couple of answers in there too. Again, you're going to get out of this what you put into it, right? But they're using different things, and there's a lot of different things. And if you don't have an answer in there, you're going to see once you go out there and try to do that, or you're going to see from what we're doing here there as well. Just some of the things we mentioned. Who here has a website or needs to have an answer? There we go. Nikki got an answer. Email marketing, Google platforms. James says I have a domain and a website. Yeah, that's 2 things right there. He gets a lot of word of mouth. Senlio, Twilio, yeah, my man Philip, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that Philip's just using there. And you can all start seeing this and just let's simplify it, right? MailerLite,
Yeah, MailerLite. There's Facebook. There's domains. There's I saw Debbie themes. I saw Twilio. I saw WordPress. I saw Wishlist member. So a membership site. A way to send emails. Damari is not using any yet. You're in the right place to learn to use something the right way from the beginning. And some people are in that position. There's nothing wrong with not using anything yet, because sometimes half the battle, to be honest, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it. Like we mentioned on the other slide, I was like, any one of these can be a daunting task in of themselves. Like it could be like, man, which one do I pick? How do I know I'm picking the right one? So we want to help you kind of solve all those problems, because that's a huge thing there. But any one of these, especially the people putting in answers that are using some things, any one of these things can cost you $50 to $100 to start with. And as most things, most of you probably know this, if you've even seen it, maybe this might be why some people aren't doing it. As you use these things, it costs you one thing to get a couple hundred people on a list. And if you build out bigger, we'll tell you, if you don't know and haven't got to that level yet, when you get to a couple hundred and a couple thousand people, those prices keep going up and up and up. And what you find, and what we found ourselves, is like, look, we're using 6, 10, 12 different things here. All of these cost us about $50 or $100 a month or more. Just do the math. Like, what's 6 times 5 or whatever else? So 6 times the 100, right? For the 50 and the 100, right? And this is what we kind of found out. And this is what could potentially be spending rather quickly. Some people could spend up to a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s per month just to be able to run your business. That's not even counting making the sales, making everything else come back. And here's the real problem with that, right? And this is kind of what haunts most businesses. Most businesses with 6, 10, 12 different products, that gets expensive. Let's just be honest with it, right? They all have their own learning curve. They all cost money, and it's really a headache. And here's the biggest part that we've seen too. If one of those things stop working, or God forbid, one of these companies go out of business, your whole business is screwed up, and you got to kind of go back and backtrack and find what it is. So at the end of the day, you're patchworking this stuff together. It's almost like Frankenstein. We all probably remember the movie Frankenstein. You got to put them together, hope it comes alive. But if one thing goes wrong, it's going to all go back down. So you really come to that point where you got to draw a line in the sand, right? You got to say enough is enough. And you can either say, hey, I'm just going to whine and complain about it, or you can be proactive and go out there and do something about it. And that's where we were about 2 years ago. Like, we had to find out, and we proactively went out there. We tested a lot of different things, bought a lot of different things, some good, some bad, but nothing really did it until we came across this one solution. And we really found it really is an all-in-one platform. Like, think about it this way. Which one makes more sense? If I pick 10 different things and try to make them work together, or if I just find one thing that's already meant to, who here got a Mac? Let's do this the old school way. Put an M for Mac or P for PC. And nothing against PC people. I'm on a Mac, Todd's on a Mac. If you don't have a Mac, go get a Mac. But all jokes aside, right? Why do most people, at least for me, why do I have a Mac? So my Mac.
A lot of Mac users here.
Exactly. So these are our people, exactly. But your Mac works with what? Your iPhone. And your iPhone works with what? Your iPad. And they all can share and they can airdrop and do all kinds of things together, right? They're made to work together. One reason why I left PC, and I haven't been on PC since 2014, because as soon as you get an update, maybe you saw that old blue screen where things froze up. I don't even know if it still does anymore. But in 6 months, it was outdated, right? And then you had to go get something else, another software. You're going to have to get a desk cleaner or all these other things just to make this thing originally work again. And that's kind of where we were at with this whole process here. And it's really about making those things work as well. You had something to add that time?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, guys, I'm going to tell you something. If you're trying to build out a business and you don't think that you need elements and the help to do so, you're mistaken. I mean, we're at a point now where, and it's never been that way. You could never in history have you had the ability to sell something without having an expense, to be able to sell something without needing anything else. I don't care if you're a person who's selling crocheting, hand knitted crocheting on the corner, right? Your needles are going to cost you something. Your thread is going to cost you something. Maybe the crate that you're sitting on is going to cost you something. Maybe the cardboard sign that you're putting your prices on is going to cost you something, right? So sometimes you get people who say, you know what, I want to become a publisher and I want to, I've got this idea for a book and I'm going to throw it up there and I hope that people are going to buy it. And it's wishful thinking. It doesn't happen that way, right? How many people have a book? I'm gonna go in and draw something really quickly on this thing. How many people you have, this is your book right now. Let's say this is your book. How many people are right here? They have a book or they have a course. You have a book, or just put me in the chat box. Put B for book, put C for course. And you've got something that is completed. It's
A B or C.
Or C. Right? You have this done right now. Like it's done. So we've got B's coming in. We've got some people with B and C. All right. Let me ask you the next question. How do you expect to sell this? How do you expect to sell it? What are you going to do? Are you going to put it up on Amazon? Now, if you put it up on Amazon, if you have a book, right? We're putting it over here on Amazon. You could get some sales. You could potentially get some sales. You just don't know. Right? You could potentially get some sales. You just don't know. If you have a course, you could come in, build out your own website, right? And you could potentially get some sales as well. You don't know. But if you have either one of these, and you start off with building out a list first, right? And you say, hey, look, give me your name and give me your email. This is the name, this is your email, and I'm going to give you something for free that relates to my book or that relates to this course, right? The book might provide you some value in the sense of helping you to better understand how to solve a problem, or it might provide some value in the sense of entertaining you, right? If it's fiction. Your course might help someone to solve a problem. But if you're just throwing it up on any one of these platforms, you've got a better chance at going to the gas station and saying, hey, look, let me get 10 lottery tickets and hoping that you win. You have a better chance at lightning striking you. But when you start to build out a list, and now you can communicate to your list and you can say, hey, look, I've got this course that I've just released. I've got this book that I just released. Now you increase your chances of someone coming in and actually buying that thing because you're in control. I love Amazon. Amazon has made me a lot of money, continues to make me a lot of money, right? But had I not done these things, which is what we talk about, then I would not have made as much money on Amazon. I love digital publishing, right? Which is having the courses. But had I not done this, which is the first step that every single person should do, before you even finish your course, before you finish your book, the first thing you should do is completely finish your means of building out your list. If I had to go back all over again, Woody, I'm sure that if you had to start all over again, instead of writing a book, instead of having a book ghostwritten, instead of building out my course, the first thing I would have did was, let me put more effort into how do I build out my list so that I have this group of individuals that once I'm done with my book or my course, I can announce it to them. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, yes, I can announce it on Amazon. Yes, I can announce it on my website, right? But I can announce it to them so that now what happens is, you could even use this to your benefit where you're sending them directly to your Amazon link listing. And what that does is that kind of fools the algorithm a little bit. Where the algorithm now thinks that there's more people interested in this thing organically. And now Amazon says, okay, well, let's push this listing up a little bit higher in our rankings so that this book gets more visibility. Because obviously people are visiting the link. Obviously that means that they're interested in it, right? And then people are buying it. So that now Amazon says, okay, well, if we push this book up a little bit higher in our listings, that makes us more money as well because Amazon wants to make money, right? So the thing that a lot of people don't get is they put a lot of time into their book. I've seen people who will put months and years into a book, decades into a book, and just start into building a list. No action, just start. I know I should have a list, but nothing as far as moving forward. So that's why tomorrow, what we start with is number one, we start with showing you how to build a list. Tomorrow is probably going to be the most important day out of all of these days here. We show you with building out we'll show you how to build out your opt-in form. So we'll show you how to build out this form that you should have. We're going to show you what to put on that form as far as the name. We'll show you what to put on that form as far as the email, right? We'll show you where to put it. We'll show you what elements to put on this form. We'll show you what legal, now we're not attorneys, but we'll show you what legal elements you should have on that form. We'll show you what button text you should have on that form. Because most people don't know what text to put on that form. We'll show you what happens after someone comes in, they fill out their name, their email address, and then they hit submit. What do you do next? What's their journey look like next? So we're going to show you what that looks like. We'll show you also if you should start capturing phone numbers. And now once you have phone numbers, how do you send a text message to this individual? And how do you not do it manually? So Philip, you're not sitting at your computer and sending out a text message, but you've got an automation that's sending it out, which customized, and it says, hey Philip, this is Ty here. I've got a new book that just came out. You're gonna love this thing. Here's where you can go and you can buy it, right? So when you have all of that in place, it makes you beating out your competition so much easier, because your competition is only focusing on being a good writer. They're only focusing on creating a course, right? So all of that is what we're giving you over the next couple of days. But now look, we talked about you needing a resource to be able to do this, right? At the very beginning, we said, we're going to show you exactly what to do. And if you have this resource, right, you're going to be able to follow along with us. So as we give you the homework starting tonight and each day, you'll be able to go into your system. You'll be able to put this homework into play. So here's that resource. And Des, if you could put the link in the chat box, because I want everyone to get this. This is so important in our business that we're giving you this thing for free for 30 days. This is how important it is. Now, just go in and make sure that you have it so that for the next couple of days, you can follow along with us, because you'll have your own account. We call this our business builder. You'll have your own account where you can follow along with us. And then come Saturday, if you want to cancel it out, go in and cancel it out. At least you'll have the experience, right? So at least you'll be able to go in and say, okay, well, this is where Ty and this is where Willie said to go in and do this. Oh my God, it is easier than I thought, right? You learn by seeing, but you also learn by seeing and then doing. So if you just saw us talk about, hey, here's how you go and you set up your opt-in form, chances are you're not going to retain much of that. But if you saw us say, hey, here's how you go in and you set up your opt-in form. Now, this is your homework. Go set up your opt-in form and add all of these elements. And then you actually followed through and you did the homework. You're going to understand it a lot better than the person that just sat here and watched and who didn't participate. By the end of day 5, you'll be able to get here and teach some of this stuff. Philip does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And if you guys are in the Fast Pass, right, you've probably seen Philip there in almost all of the calls. He goes, now he's an entirely bright individual, but he does a lot of stuff. And I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that you've learned, Philip, by being on these calls and participating, right? So that's how it works. It's like I have to participate. I can't just sit there. Right, so that's why we're saying go get this thing, sign up for it right now, go in, set up your account, and then as we're giving you the homework day to day, you can actually go and you can do these things that we're going to be showing you. Now, here's the cool thing about this. This is an education that we're giving you. This is the equivalent, to me, this is just my opinion, this is the equivalent. I make more money than most doctors. And I'm not saying that to brag. I make more money than most surgeons. I make more money than folks that have gone to school for, ever. And it's because we both have an education. I have an education in something that's going to, now, not that a doctor doesn't have an education in something that's going to continuously pay them, yes, right? And that can help people because doctors are very needed, right? And very much appreciated. But I have an education in something that has the potential to be limitless. A surgeon can only do but so many surgeries in a day or even in a week, right? I have the opportunity to put together something that an unlimited number of people can come into and visit and purchase, right? Whether I'm sleeping, whether I'm on vacation, whether I'm, at dinner with my wife, whether I'm cleaning the garage, whatever it may be. We were at my son's school's football game on Saturday, and I had to just give thanks because as we're sitting there in the stands, I'm getting sale notifications on my phone for digital products that were being sold as I'm sitting there watching two college football teams compete against one another. So do you see the difference? Now, a surgeon can't be at the game and still perform surgery. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Then not to diminish a surgeon, not to diminish a doctor. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand the power of being able to understand what it is that we're teaching you as it relates to digital publishing. Once you get this, no one can ever take it away from you. You just have to be able to take it and participate and freaking apply. That's all we're showing you. Now, we're also adults, right? I'm going to tell you this. I have years and 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 years of experience. Willie has years and years and years and years and years of experience. Am I saying that by you coming in and joining us for the next 5 days, you're going to be able to go to a football game and watch your son and their team play and you make money? That's not what I'm saying, right? And if you think that that's what I'm saying, you're missing the point. What I'm saying is this is an education that you can take and that you have the potential to do like some really incredible things with it, as well as provide to other people, right? So this is the link, michael-offers.com/business-builder1. I will tell you there has been moments in my life where I've made a decision, and in hindsight, it has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made for myself, for my family, for you guys. And I didn't know it at the time. I'm hoping that you guys going in and clicking this link will be that thing for you a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You said, my God, I had a chance to go in and watch Suits or whatever my favorite show was that day, but instead I invested time with Willie and Ty, and I clicked on this freaking link and I got this business builder and I sat and I paid attention and I did the work. Best thing ever. Doesn't matter if you're 40, doesn't matter if you're 80. A system is a system is a system, and that's what we're giving you with this thing right here. Willie, anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm going to state the obvious because sometimes it just needs to be stated, right? It's like, this is a free trial, and just do the math. I love to simplify things. This is a 5-day challenge. You get a 30-day free trial. So, like, there's literally no risk to that. Go in there, check it out. You don't like it, cancel it out. That's fine. Like Tyler mentioned, come Saturday, get rid of it. But who here has been trying, quote unquote, trying or actively trying to start a business? And for how long? Just think about that to yourself. If you're not going to put it in the chat box, that's fine there too. This is something most of you, I would have to say every single person on this call has been wanting to do. Well, if not, it makes no sense for you to be here, right? So you have to at least want to sell a book, a product, a course, or something. This is your chance to do that. In 5 days from now, like, you could have this up and running online with the ability to start making some income, right? Like, there's never been anyone 80 years old, 90 years old, sitting in a rocking chair on the porch saying, I wish I wasn't as successful as I could have been. But there's tons of people that go to the grave saying, man, I regret not doing, and you can fill in whatever blank it is. So if it's been a week for you or a month for you, some people said, hey, I had nothing yet. This is your chance to get something, right? Some of you said, hey, I've tried to fail some things. Nothing wrong with that either. This is your chance to get it right. Some people have been on the fence. Hey, I've always wanted to do this online stuff. I just want to show up to a challenge and see what's happening there too. Like, again, that's fine. Take a look. But like, the worst thing would do, and I would tell any one of you this here, is like, come Saturday, you would be sitting there saying, man, I saw it all on my screen in front of me. And man, I didn't take advantage of one single thing. Like, that's like the worst thing there. It's like, what are you really doing? And then you need to ask yourself that. But it's simple. Here's what to do. Like, we'll just show you again. This isn't some, go buy a course or program. Like, man, get a free trial, right? And check this thing out. Yep. And when you clicked on that link that was in the chat box, this is exactly what you see. You're going to see a big yellow button there that says, start your 30-day free trial. If that one makes you scroll down to the bottom, click it again. But it's going to show you that here. And it really is. It says it's a free trial right there on the screen in front of you, right? And then all you got to do is enter your information. And once you put your information there on the right-hand side, and look at all the stuff. Like, we didn't go into it. Like, we're giving you a ton of bonuses and all the bullet points you see there. You're getting a whole bunch of stuff that you will have. So we know some people are starting off. We're going to show you where to start off. Some of you have got some more experience. keep all that stuff, right? Put in your details, click that big orange button that says, yes, give me instant access. And that's going to take you to the page, and that's going to allow you to get that business builder for yourself. And guess what? Like, again, keep it simple. You got 30 days, we got 5 days. That means you got 3 weeks after you're done to play around with it, decide if it's even a good thing, right? So it's better to have it and not need it or not want it than to want it and not have it, right? So here's what you want to do. And let me back up. Here's why you should do this. And I would say this is a why because you have those proverbial crossroads sometimes, right? Like oftentimes people have an opportunity and never take advantage of it, right? And those are the people that ultimately feel at the end of the day. I would have, I should have, I could have. Who's ever said any one of those words with anything in your life? That's exactly what you're doing. But here's what we're doing on the right-hand side. Like over the next 5 days, we will use our business builder. If you have something else, you can do that too. But you're going to have to patchwork it together, but that's fine. But we're going to build out each piece of this online business live, like right before your eyes, like on screen, click here, do this, do that. And we're going to show you that. Plus, you get that free 30-day trial we mentioned. So again, this could literally cost you nothing, definitely during the challenge at least. You can follow along click by click. You can go step by step with what we're doing here so that you know exactly what to do, because that's the biggest problem. Second biggest problem people have. Hey, I don't know what to do. That's one thing. We're telling you what to do. And then it's like, well, I don't know how to do it. We're going to show it to you on the screen over the next 5 days here and show you click by click how to do this, right? So that you can finally get this thing finished. That's the biggest thing. Like, who here started, look on the shelf behind me. I can't tell you how many books are on it. I can't. It's about 250 books or so. Who's ever started a book, a program, a course, with us, with somebody else, and here's the scary part, never finished it. And then you go and get something else, and you start that, and guess what? You probably did that time around there too. You probably never finished that one there too. The more you keep not finishing something, the easier it is not to finish the next thing there too. And who's ever been on a challenge or webinar or training, us or somebody else, and then showed up to a second one, a third one, a fourth one, a seventh one, an eighth one, a Kindle Cashflow Live, any other virtual event. And every time you go there, motivation, ready to do this thing, but then when the event's over, what happens? You probably, I'm going to go to the gym. Here's one of my own, right, that I've done in the past. I'm going to go to the gym. And you go the first couple of days, and then you miss a day for a reason. Hey, I got to pick the kids up, or I got to do this, or I got to do that. And then life happens, right? Oh, it's whatever happened. I had an emergency, and then you miss a day. Then it's like I missed a couple of days. Then I missed a week. Now I missed a month. And now I'm New Year's revolution. I'm going to do all this stuff over again, right? We've all been there. So let's just be honest. Like, this is your chance to finally get your online business up and running. We're going to actually help you. We're giving you a free trial. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. But free trial aside, we're going to show you. So why not do it? Like, what are you going to do with the next 5 days? That's what I would just say with that there too. And it's no risk. You get that full time to do this as well there too. So I could go on with that. I do get passionate about this stuff sometimes, but it's because Ty struggled to do this when he started out. I've struggled to do this when I started out. It probably took me about 6 years to get things right. Don't be here, what is this, 2024? Don't be here in 2030, talk about, man, I'm going to finally start this online business. That would be the worst place to go, right? So with that said, that's my 2 cents with this, but it's like, we're going to show you what to do. Follow along and do it. If you have work, family, we get that too. You get the recordings. And you got 3 weeks after this thing is over. So just ask yourself, am I really serious about doing this? We won't call out anybody. We won't embarrass anybody. We see who participated. We see who didn't. So ask yourself too, if I didn't participate, why? Am I scared? Am I nervous? Am I too busy? Am I watching Netflix while I'm tuning into this thing and listening in the background? Just really ask yourself that question, because everyone says they want to do it, but the people that actually do it are far and few in between.
Yeah.
So I won't go on with that. I could definitely push that button a little bit more, but it really is. It's like, what do you want to get out of this? Like, what are you doing? At the end of the day, that's what you really got to ask yourself. This is free, a free challenge, or you're in on this challenge free trial. Why not build your business and see if you like it, and see if this really is for you? But maybe online business isn't. I would hate to say, but it might not be for some people. Just ask yourself if you're one of those people that it is for.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Luke, I just sent you a message to Des. She has you all set up, so she's going to send you a password reset, so check your email. All right, Jane, I love what Jane Johnson says. She says, with the system, it will work. Without it, there's too much to think of. Absolutely.
100%.
Too much to think of. So that's a really good way of putting it, Jane. And Jane has been around the community forever. And it's just having all the different pieces. So Nakia is in. Nakia is actually from Connecticut, so my home state. She's actually right up the street from me in New Haven. So good to have you.
You know why? You know why Nakia is in? Because she's been participating this whole time.
She has been.
She's been in the group. I've seen Phil. I've seen both Jameses. I'm gonna forget somebody if I said name names. I've seen Linda. I've seen a ton of people here, right? I've also not seen a few people there too. So take that for a grain of salt. It's tough love. I'll tell you that. Because what's the alternative? Like, if you don't do it now, ask yourself when. Yep. And for many of us, when would be today, tomorrow, another time. That when never comes. Or you don't. Life is too short, and I know this firsthand in a lot of ways. Tomorrow's not promised for anybody, right? So I'm going to do it later. When what? When what? When the end of the year comes, when New Year's comes, when the next big holiday comes, what? Like when the kids are out the house and then they're going to college. Like, when are you going to do it? Just ask yourself that, and just seriously ask yourself that. Roger, I'm going to mute you for a second there. I think you hit your mic,
yeah,
but that's what it is. But here's another way that we can help you there too. One thing we didn't know, anyone who's gotten a ticket, we're actually going to have a bonus session after this. So if you want to ask us questions and really get hands-on help for yourself, there's still an opportunity that you can actually go out there and get a ticket. We didn't mention that. So if you're already a platinum ticket member, I mean, we can put that link in there. If you don't have a platinum ticket, you can grab a platinum ticket. If you're already a platinum ticket member and you showed up here, you're still going to get this there too. Or anyone who gets the business builder, we'll throw that in there for you there too, just to give everybody a fair chance. So on Saturday, you can say, hey, Ty and Willie, you were gatekeeping. We are not gatekeeping. We're going to open up, really pull back the curtain and show you everything that we're doing in our business. And we're going to give you the opportunity to do it there. So you can follow the instructions on the screen there as well, Ty. If you want to pop in there, pop back over there.
Yep. And then, actually, can you see my screen? You should be able to see the goal.
Yeah, join us for the Platinum Post Session Mastermind.
Yep, gotcha. Okay. So tomorrow, look, guys, tomorrow is so we're going to have our Platinum Ticket Holder Mastermind session in like the next 5 minutes. So check that link that you got in your email, and it should say Platinum Bonus Session. So this is for everyone that are part of a business builder right now. I think, Nakia, you had just registered for it. Everyone that has that, everyone that has a platinum ticket. So look for the Zoom link. We're going to get off of this Zoom call. And then in 5 minutes, we're going to go on the other Zoom link. Willie and I will be waiting for you there. And that's where you'll get a chance to come in and ask your questions. We'll cover some other things with you that we won't cover right here. So you have 2 links that are in the chat box right now. You can also use the links that are here to upgrade your ticket to a platinum ticket, right? And if you are already a platinum ticket holder, check your email or check the members area for the Zoom link that we'll be using in the next 5 minutes. We're going to go over there right now, all right? So here's what we're going to give you tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to really go deep into this stuff. As I said earlier, we're going to show you how to start to build out your opt-in form so you can start to build out your list. This needs to be the starting point for every single person. It doesn't matter if you're publishing a book, and it doesn't matter if that book is fiction or nonfiction. It doesn't matter if you're publishing a course. It doesn't matter if you want to be a coach. It doesn't matter if you want to do live events like this or have memberships. Anything that you want to sell, your starting point should be with having a list. Think about it. We're teaching you stuff that we actually do in our businesses, as Willie said, and this is one of the first things that we actually do in our business. That's how you're here on this event, because you joined our list at some point. We're able to send you an email to tell you about this event, and now you're here at this event, right? So that's the process. People will join your list, but first you have to know how to put this together, which is what we're going to show you tomorrow. They'll join your list, and now once you have your thing that you want to sell, you send out emails, you send out text messages to them, and now you have that ability to potentially get sales that are coming in. All right, so tomorrow we're going to jump into that. I think you'll really understand the clarity in it. All right. Nakia is asking about the bonus training session on Saturday. What's the time there? And Willie, if you can answer her in the chat box, that would be perfect. And one last time, if you guys don't have the Business Builder, which is the software that we're going to be going into tomorrow and the rest of this week, this is where you can go and you can get it. That link is in the chat box again. All right. Any questions? Is there anyone here with a question? And remember at the very beginning, I said that there's no such thing as a dumb question. Are there any questions that we can answer for you before we head out and we go into the platinum session using the other Zoom link? Let me know. Any questions at all? Right. And Willie, I don't know if you saw Nakia's question. So our bonus training session on what time is that?
Yeah, I was messaging her directly.
Oh, okay. What time is our session on Saturday? Do you guys
know?
At
noon.
It's 12 noon Saturday. Okay, right. Nora is saying if we already have a high level account through another program, how does that work?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Nora. And we have a lot of people there. And as Nora probably seen, and like we said, we're open with everything else. Some people have other things they're doing. We're giving you an upgraded version of the Go High Level plus all the bonuses we have. So you can message Desiree. She's on here as Desiree today, and let her know that.
Fancy today.
Yes, and we can get the link there for sure, and we can get you switched over. Is what I would recommend. Just if you want all the bonuses, you can still do it on your own one there, but you probably know there as well. Go High Level, depending on what package you have, it's already overpriced to what we're giving you. So that's definitely, Nora, the decision to make which way is going to be best for you. And then we can also talk about it. Hey, I have some stuff already established there. If you want to port that over, we can talk about getting some of your stuff moved over there to kind of make it as seamless as we can. We have a couple of different ways we could potentially do that as well.
Yeah, so Nora, let us know. I think you have a platinum ticket, Nora, right? If you do, just join us on the other session that we're going to go into right now. And then we'll show you how, if you have an existing Go High Level account, how you can take everything that we're going to give you, because we'll give you a ton of stuff. We'll give you like templates for your emails. We'll give you templates for your SMS text messages. We'll give you, most importantly, our funnel templates, right? So you'll get a lot of stuff. So join that link. Join the other Zoom room, I should say, using the link that you have, and we'll see everyone else over there. If there's no other questions, any other questions besides the one that Nora just had, and I think I saw one more. Nakia says, "Can I call or text?" I'm not understanding. Meaning, can you call or text on Saturday? Because if Saturday, yeah, man, shift Saturday until the 18th. Yeah, you could definitely. So you could. If you want, you can actually call in and listen in on your phone on Saturday. Yes, you can absolutely do that. All right. Jane is saying, I think I'm already signed up for MicroOffice. Shall I email support? Jane, in terms of, so this is the business builder. When you say MicroOffice, when you say sign up, right? Send Des a direct message right now, and she'll be able to answer your question. She'll be able to help you out with what you need. Right, and she's on here. All right, guys, so we're going to meet everyone else over in the other Zoom room, and we'll meet at 1:15. So right now, we'll meet you guys in 10 more minutes, right? Nora is saying, how do I contact Desiree? Nora, do you know how to send a direct message here on Zoom to someone? Let me know. And if not, Des, can you send her a direct message? Thank you, James. We'll see you tomorrow. And guys, remember, same Zoom link tomorrow, same time. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right? And if you're in over in California, that'll be 4 for you. So not a problem, Nora. She'll reach out to you, right? All right, guys, we'll see you. Have a good day, good morning, good night. And don't forget, same link, same time tomorrow. Platinum members, go in, check your members area or check your email and meet us in the other Zoom room at just about 10 minutes from now. Right? So half hour after the hour. Hey James, can you tell me what link? Which link are you referring to? I think James might still be on. James Stokes. Actually, I think James is on. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same link.